Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, 1 Kings, 2 Kings, 1 Chronicles, 2 Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Song of Solomon, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentations, Ezekiel, Daniel, Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, and Malachi. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts, Romans, 1 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, 1 Thessalonians, 2 Thessalonians, 1 Timothy, 2 Timothy, Titus, Philemon, Hebrews, James, 1 Peter, 2 Peter, 1 John, 2 John, 3 John, Jude, and Revelation. Genesis and Exodus, Leviticus and Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1 and 2 Samuel, the Kings and the Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, Job, and Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and the Song of Solomon, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentations 2, Ezekiel and Daniel, Hosea, Joel, and Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, Nahum 2, Habakkuk and Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah. Last of all is Malachi, now you know we're through. Books of the Old Testament, now I have learned you.
And now my favorite one, the New Testament. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the Acts of the Apostles and Romans, 1 and 2 Corinthians, Galatians and Ephesians, Philippians and Colossians, 1 and 2 Thessalonians, 1, 2 Timothy and Titus, Philemon, Hebrews, James, 1 and 2 Peter, 1, 2, 3 John, Jude, and Revelation.
Hi you guys, so I wanted to explain how the books are arranged in the Bible, and I wanted to give you quick tips on how to memorize them so that it's easier for you. So the first thing is our Bible, and our one Bible consists of 66 books. And within these 66 books, it's divided in two sections. We have the Old Testament and we have the New Testament. The Old Testament has 39 books, and it's before Christ was born, and the New Testament has 27 books, and it was after Christ was born. The Bible is not arranged in chronological order, nor is it arranged in alphabetical order. It's actually arranged in subject matter. So I'm going to go ahead and divide this, and we're going to start with the Old Testament, and the numbers I want you to remember are 5, 12, 5, 5, 12. 5, 12, 5, 5, 12. So the Old Testament is divided by 5 categories, and those 5 categories are the 5 books of Moses, the 12 history books, the 5 books of poetry, the 5 major prophets, and the 12 minor prophets. So 5, 12, 5, 5, 12. So let's say you want to memorize it, right? And you can just start on a Monday, and you can start with the 5 books of Moses, or the Law of Moses. It's also called the Pentateuch. And say on Monday you just memorize Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. All day you just say those 5 books of Moses. Then say Tuesday you memorize the 12 history books, or you can separate it. 6 on Tuesday, 6 on Wednesday, and the 12 history books. And those consist of Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, 1 Kings, 2 Kings, 1 Chronicles, 2 Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, and Esther. So spend Tuesday and Wednesday memorizing the 12 history books. And then on Thursday, spend it memorizing the 5 books of poetry, which are Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and Song of Solomon. And Just say those over and over all day. So then spend Friday memorizing the 5 major prophets, which are Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentations, and Ezekiel, and Daniel. And just say those all day. And then on Saturday and Sunday, you finish it off by memorizing the 12 minor prophets, and you split the 12 up into Saturday and Sunday. And the 12 minor prophets are Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, and Malachi. And you spend those 2 days and you finish it off learning the Old Testament. So 5-12, 5-5-12 in the Old Testament. And just so you know, the Old Testament was originally written in Hebrew, which was the Jewish language back then. So by the end of the week, you should know the Old Testament. But you're not on a time limit, so if you need 2 weeks to learn it, then you need 2 weeks. However long it takes, that was just my guide. And so now we're going to learn the New Testament. You can start all over again on Monday, and you can start with the 4 Gospels. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And all day Monday, you just say Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. All day Monday. So on Tuesday, you have the 1 Acts. So it's only one thing to learn on Tuesday. Since you have that free time, you can go back in the Old Testament and memorize what you've learned, practice it again, and then go into the New Testament and memorize the 4 Gospels and the 1 Acts. And then on Wednesday and Thursday, you have the 14 epistles, or it's also known as the letters from Paul. So you can go ahead and memorize those on Wednesday and Thursday. So on Wednesday and Thursday, you'll be splitting up the 14 letters from Paul, and you'll be learning Romans, 1 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, 1 Thessalonians, 2 Thessalonians, 1 Timothy, 2 Timothy, Titus, Philemon, and Hebrews. So just split those up, 7 each, Wednesday and Thursday. So by Friday, you can memorize the 7 epistles, and epistles is just another way of saying letters. So the 7 books that you'll be memorizing are James, 1 Peter, 2 Peter, 1 John, 2 John, 3 John, and Jude. And by Saturday, you're on your last book, which is the book of Revelation, and also called the book of prophecy and the book of Apocalypse. And so by Sunday, you should be finished with memorizing the entire books of the Bible, all 66 books in 2 weeks. So I hope you have fun doing it. So there's a lot of ways to learn tricks for the Bible, how to memorize it. Like for example, in the New Testament, the 4 Gospels. Just think of like a cross, the life of Christ, and you can use acronyms, MMLJ. And then when you get to Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, use the acronym GEPC, JEPC. That's how you remember Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians. You can, the 5 T's are together. 1 Thessalonians, 2 Thessalonians, 1 Timothy, 2 Timothy, Titus. Then you get to PHJ instead of PhD, it's PHJ. And you know that you end with Revelation. There's a lot of little tricks, but I hope it helps. So the reason that I did this video is because I gave my life to the Lord 2 years ago on April 10th, 2010, and immediately after I was baptized, I felt the Lord put in my heart to memorize the books of the Bible. And who knows, maybe it's so that I can share it with you guys. But I also didn't want to be the person anymore that would scramble to get to the book while the pastor was talking in service. And I didn't want to be there 3 years, 5 years. or longer and never took the time to memorize the books of the Bible. I was just so hungry and thirsty, so I just wanted to know every single thing that he had to say, and so I memorized it. I read the entire book, and I researched little tricks here and there, and hopefully now it helps you guys learn it as well, and hopefully you can help someone else who knows. But just let me know if you learned anything, if you memorized it, if you read the book of the Bible, if it's helped you, and out of all of this, may his name be glorified. Amen. Enjoy. Thank you for watching.